Ever since MiniToon made that X post about eye colors in Roblox Piggy, the community has been going back and forth about what exactly each color means. It's been over 4 years since then, and with the help of the Piggy community and different hints in the game, we can finally end this debate once and for all. According to the creator of Piggy himself, the pupil colors of the infected indicate something about the character's personality before they became infected. There are some exceptions to this rule. For instance, Robbie is a robot, so his red eyes don't mean anything because they are sensors, and also, as a robot, he doesn't have a personality. Many skins that were made for special events, such as Russo or Sabrina made for RB battles, also don't have a meaning. With that said, we have a total of 10 accepted eye variations that all indicate something about the character. I will go through all of them, starting with the red pupil. Although there is no official answer from MiniToon, there's a widely accepted community theory that these characters were very close to their family and friends. Take Willow as an example, who lost her brother and entire family when arrested. Another prime example is Zizzy, who lost her sisters Z and Zizzy when she got scratched fighting infected in the refinery. I agree with this theory. However, it can, in reality, be a bit more general. For instance, we don't know anything about Beery and his family or friends, but we know he worked as a doctor in a hospital caring for patients. Here's a list of all infected characters having red eye color if you are interested, and let's move to orange. There's a lot out there about infected with orange pupils. My theory is that these made something terrible in the past, or they simply went through a lot. They had nowhere to turn their head to, and Tio accepted them, and they made a deal. It's also known that Tio gets into people's heads and makes them see things that make them emotional. Tio likely went into their heads and used their guilt or other strong emotions to manipulate and make them join the insolence or join him. This theory is further supported by one note written by Kona, who explains that the ones with orange pupils are very different from others and can travel large distances almost instantly, and Tio kinda explains the teleportation. One great example of a bad person who might have fallen under Tio's spell is Rash, who is a burglar, and who also tried to sneak on you from behind in the alleys. Or look at Tigry, who had a terrible childhood only to live through more horrors after joining the military. Now, let's take a look at yellow. This is the only pupil color that is fully explained by MiniToon. These are characters that helped in their community a lot before the infection. These qualities can be clearly seen in someone like Teacher. Before the infection, she worked at a local school, and we know that she taught Z, Zizzy, and other students. Another who helped others in the community a lot, and who has yellow pupils, is Katie. Katie worked at a hospital as a nurse. Moving on to the green pupil color. These are also confirmed by in-game notes. One of Kona's notes from the temple reads, "I've come to the conclusion that green means they used to be very independent." This is harder to demonstrate, as we don't know much about the lives before the infection of characters that have green eyes. But it kinda makes sense when you look at Badgie, who was a researcher working on the cure, or Coley, who was a construction worker. Now, with blue pupils, there are many theories out there. One popular theory is that they were abandoned or solitary, or that they were depressed or sad prior to infection. I get where this comes from. When you are sad, you say that you are feeling blue. After all, Polly was abandoned at the police station, or Foxy was left behind by the Silver Paw. But that's not really a personality trait, although it makes some sense. Another theory is that they were naive. Foxy thought that being locked in a cage was a game, and the members of the Silver Paw would come back for him, or Polly didn't have a clue about the infection, and that's how he got infected. Then there's a third theory that, if you think of it, really makes sense. Characters with blue pupils were simply really good friends. They were defined by loyalty. Foxy, for the same reason I mentioned before, he would do anything for the Silver Paw. And Polly was a loyal police officer and a really good friend of Doggy, as can be seen in one of the pictures from the credits. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments while we move on to purple pupils. We actually know absolutely nothing about characters with purple pupils. Many people think that it represents disability, although it does work on all three characters in this group. Grandmother due to her advanced age, Mimi is a mole so she can't see properly, and Mousy doesn't have legs. It does not say anything about what personality the character had. And also, Mousy had both legs when uninfected, so that's probably not it. I would rather say it represents humbleness, kindness, or empathy. For example, Grandmother raised concerns when Georgie went missing, or Mimi offered to stay with Giraffy when he got shot. Now, let's take a look at white pupils. Before we dive any further, Let's notice that there's a difference between characters with just white pupils and characters that have whole eye white, meaning they have a sclera only with no visible pupils, or the sclera is completely white with black pupils. Then there's, in theory, a third group with triple white pupils. MiniToon has confirmed that pupil color tells you something about personality, whereas sclera color has a different meaning. White pupils show the overall innocence of the character. Take Georgie Piggy, he's kind, friendly, and welcoming. Or Kenneth, who takes safety very seriously and wants to make sure nobody gets hurt. Or who can better demonstrate this than a literal angel? Then, there are characters with triple white pupils. There's Anteo and Parisi, both with some kind of mutation going on. This can mean that both were really good before infection, but the infection just worked in a different way on them. Now, the glowing sclera. Since they don't have pupils or have black ones, from what MiniToon said, we are really not guessing the personality of these characters, but rather something different. I've heard theories that they either are super powerful or that they represent extroverts, but I am not really convinced since these characters are all over the place. There's a secret character called Friend, who is completely different than any character in the game, as it really isn't an animal like others. Then you have Zizzy, a younger sister from Zizzy. And to end this, you also have another super random character named Umbra. Without Zizzy, I would go with the theory about their extreme powers, but I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now we have characters with black sclera. What is interesting is that these characters are usually linked to one with a white sclera, or white glowing pupils. While Zizzy has a glowing white sclera, Z has completely black eyes. This can also be seen with Mother and Father, or Laura and her toy. This could indicate that these are opposite each other, or maybe not at all. Black may showcase an empty character, lifeless. Laura is based on one of MiniToon's nightmares, which he had in real life. Then there's Ghosty or Skelly, who doesn't look like they have lived fulfilling life before. But then again, there's Mother Piggy, who kinda tears this theory apart unless we are missing a part of the story. However, there might be some truth to that theory. There's one interesting line in the distraction chapter where you play as Zizzy. In the ending cutscene, where Zizzy meets Tio, they are talking about life before. Tio then starts comparing himself to Z, that he was just like she, a quiet child. Then he mentions that Z was not just quiet, but that she actually never spoken, and the art of speech is a very important part of living. Maybe, characters with completely black eyes are really empty in a sense, and those with white sclera complement them, because they often form pairs, or they are completely opposite, extroverted in a sense. All these mentioned variations form the base. Then you have the black pupils with orange iris. They are believed to be the same as characters with orange pupils. That means they are the part of insolence. But some people, me included, thinks that the ones with just orange iris are more closely related to Tio, or form the base of the insolence. And lastly, there's red iris that can be seen in the distorted Penny skin. My theory is that it represents that the character was simply infected for too long. After all, Penny together with Father and Mother Piggy were the first to become infected after given the intended cure. Let me know what you think about all these theories in the comments below, and I will see you next time.